Ready to go? All right, I would like to call to order the Monday, February 15th meeting of the Monona City Council. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Alder Goforth.
Present.
Alder Wood.
Here.
Alder Kuhr.
Here.
Alder
This is
Cobb.
Here.
Alder Groupie.
Here.
Alder Moore.
Would like to call to order
No,
the
you're
Monday,
on the wrong
February
one.
15th meeting
This
of
is
the
it right
Monona
here.
City Council. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Alder Goforth.
Present.
Alder Wood.
here.
Alder Kuhr.
Here.
I'm here also.
Thank you.
Okay. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you all, and I have two proclamations to read tonight. The first recognizes the retirement of Karen Wendt, our long-term children's librarian at the library. Yay, Karen. You see she's there with husband Brad. So I'll just read it. Recognizing the public library career and contributions of retiring Monona Public Library Youth Services Coordinator Karen Wendt. Whereas Karen Wendt, retiring Youth Services Coordinator of the Monona Public Library, has served in libraries for over 35 years and is well respected by youth services librarians, library staff, city employees, and current and past Monona families. And whereas Karen has served as an example to her peers and to the residents of this community and state, both in her personal achievements and connections and employment achievements, by exhibiting kindness, love for all children, and dedication to the community. Whereas Karen has created and led countless story times for babies, infants, and children of all ages, providing their first introduction to literacy, stories, and meeting other children in the community. Whereas Karen is an accomplished professional storyteller personally, and chose to share her talents and gift with the Monona community every week of the year for decades. Whereas Karen connected with the Monona Grove schools, local businesses and organizations, and performers statewide, providing access to multiple levels of resources and talent. Whereas Karen brought the Telebration National Storytelling Program to the Monona community, professional storyteller personally, and chose to share her talents and gift with the Monona community every week of the year. Can we do anything about that echo? Thank you. I guess it's gone. I'm sorry. A celebration consisting of professional storytellers sharing stories from around the world to people of all ages. Whereas Karen started and expanded the children's Spanish collection and world language kits, introducing families in Monona to stories told in different languages and providing diversity in the library collection for children. Whereas Karen Wendt, Youth Services Coordinator at the Monona Public Library, will officially retire on February 15th, 2021, after over 35 years of outstanding and meritorious service to the families and residents in the Monona area. Now, therefore, be it resolved that I, Mayor Mary Kay O'Connor, on behalf of the Common Council of the City of Monona, both past and present, hereby recognize retiring Karen Wendt for her legacy of service in promoting early childhood literacy, love of reading and play, and community connections to the families of Monona and surrounding area, expressing their deepest appreciation for her dedication and commitment to the residents and guests of the City of Monona and its Public Library Department, and extend to Karen and her family our best wishes for many years of happiness and adventure in her retirement. Signed in the City of Monona, Dane County, Wisconsin, this 15th day of February, 2021, Mary Kay O'Connor, Mayor. Well, congratulations, Karen. I'm very excited for you. Would you like to say a few words?
Sure. I didn't prepare anything because I was afraid if I prepared something, it would take up the rest of your meeting. I just, Ryan saw me cry today. I had to turn in my key. That was the hardest part. I made sure that Brad dropped me off at work and my daughter picked me up because I was afraid my eyes would be too full of tears. I wouldn't be able to drive safely. So thank you. Thank you, everyone, all of you. I would name all of you, but then I would have to name all 8,000 people who live in Monona and all 11,000 who use the library. And it has been, no, I'm going to do it again. It has been wonderful. It was a dream come true. And I'm so happy that Tiffany gets to start her dream now. The library board and the staff, oh my goodness, I was afraid of this, have always been so supportive of people who work at the library who have families. It's the only way I was able to do it because my family is always number one, always. They are my number one. And so taking care of my kids and my mom and, being able to spend time with my husband who worked at night. And so, he would get home from work and we would eat breakfast together and play a game. I always make him play a game every morning. And then I would leave for work. And when I got home from work, he was in bed and then getting up and leaving for work. And so we rarely saw each other. And so that those abilities for me to not have to work frequent weekends and for, the vacation that the city provides. Oh my goodness. I couldn't even use it all. You guys do such a good job of that. All of you have been so supportive and so wonderful. And I've just been truly blessed. And it was an honor and a privilege to work for all of you.
Thank you, Karen. You have meant a lot to everyone in Monona. I know you've been a large part of what draws people to the library over the years, and getting kids interested in reading from an early age. It's been really important. So we thank you for all of your efforts, and we'll miss you. But I'm sure that they'd be able to find something for you to do if you'd like to come back. And
I keep trying, but they took my key.
Well, you could only come during open hours, I guess.
My daughter who's on here, I see her on here with me. She told me to ask you for a key to the library. So thank you all. Thank you so much.
Enjoy your retirement.
Oh, we will. We will.
For your plans. Anyone else have anything to add?
I'll just say, Karen, you've just been such an integral part of the library and the community, and you've touched so many lives. I can't tell you how many times my kids and I have talked about you and just the way you've touched them. And I'm so happy for you. You've put in such a long haul, and I'm really excited for Tiffany to watch Tiffany step into your shoes and see how she kind of carves out a reputation similar to yours. So thank you for all you've done.
You're welcome.
Big shoes to fill.
She can do it.
Yeah. I've heard that.
I suppose that means I should probably go next. I just want to say thank you to Karen. You have been an inspiring, now I'm going to cry. You have been an inspiring mentor to me. You have taught me so much. And it has been so wonderful to see the smiles on so many children's faces when they come in to the library every day to see you. And to see, Karen has so many visitors in her 35 years who come back from when they were little and now they're full grown adults. And I think that speaks volumes to the legacy that Karen has at the library. So thank you for everything, Karen, and all you taught me. And I know that you will keep teaching me more as we go forward in the future.
You're welcome.
Tiffany. Anyone else?
I'll just quick thank Karen again for everything that she's done for the library and the staff and the community. What we all owe to her is incalculable in terms of what all the children, as I think all the children that were introduced to literacy, to stories, and all the power that they hold. I mean, we're talking generations, and I think there are thousands of people out there who have discovered the love of reading and the love of connection to their community, thanks to Karen. And I don't know if she'll know everyone, but I think she can at least hopefully embrace that and take that with her as she will spend the next many years trekking all across the state and beyond with her family and enjoying her time. And yes, we will be in touch. Maybe not a key, but you can help out hopefully if we're so lucky to help out in future programs and stories.
Thank you, Ryan.
Thank you. Oh, I'm sorry. Karen, did you want to say something?
I just was going to say, I do have lots and lots of years ahead of me. My mom, who I see is also here, is 95 years old. She probably doesn't want me to say that, but I'm looking forward to being able to have adventures for as long as she does.
Well, that's good. I look forward to it. Alder Thomas.
Karen, there aren't words to describe what you mean to this community, so I won't try. I'll just say thank you for everything.
Thank you, Kathy.
I guess it's my turn.
Oh.
Oh, okay.
I married Karen because I knew she'd take good care of my kids. I didn't expect she would take good care of her community.
Everybody's kids, right? Okay. Well, and I don't know if everyone on the council knows, but Karen is well-known statewide in the library community and the storytelling community. I've seen her in action at Wisconsin Library Association conferences, and everybody knows her. So I'm sure you have plenty of people to visit, Karen. And thanks very much for coming tonight, and thanks to your family for joining us. I'm glad they were able to.
Thank you. And thank all of you.
Okay. All right. We will move on to our other proclamation, which is recognizing former Mayor Richard Litchfeld. And I thought, is Pete Litchfeld still on here? I saw him on before.
I don't see him, and I don't know what happened. But,
You don't see it?
but Pete, it was Mary. Pete was at Litchfeld's house and was tuned in because Marianne was watching it. And if they couldn't watch it, I think they were going to watch it on YouTube.
Okay. Okay.
But hold on 30 seconds.
Well, you know what? We forgot to approve the minutes. We could do that while we're waiting.
Oh, I guess we did, didn't we? Well, I'll let Kathy call then and see what's going on. Is there a motion to approve the minutes?
Move approval.
I'll second.
You on? Can you see us?
Is there a second?
Second.
Any corrections or additions? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Minutes are approved.
They can see it.
Okay, good. We will go on then to the proclamation recognizing former Mayor Richard Litchfeld. Whereas the community of the city of Monona lost a valued member and respected leader with the death of former Mayor Richard Harms Litchfeld on February 1st, 2021. And whereas Richard Dick Litchfeld moved to Monona in 1959 and began his community service by serving as a volunteer citizen member on several committees, including the Utility Commission and Public Works Committee. He then served as an alderperson before launching a memorable and successful write-in campaign for mayor in 1987. He went on to serve 3 terms as mayor of the city of Monona. And whereas after stepping down as mayor, Dick continued to volunteer in local government. As a former mayor, he chaired the city's Distinguished Service Award Committee, which is charged with recognizing city employees and citizen volunteers for their service to Monona. Along with his wife, Mary Ann, he hosted the annual meeting of this committee at their home, followed by a lovely holiday celebration for almost 20 years. Whereas Dick contributed his expertise on the Monona Drive Advisory Committee, which helped plan the reconstruction of Monona Drive from a 4-lane highway to a welcoming streetscape with sidewalks, bike lanes, planted medians, an abundance of trees, and decorative stone signs. And whereas Dick, along with Mary Ann, shared his love for Dixieland jazz with the community by hosting a weekly radio show on the city's radio station, WVMO, and shared his passion for classic cars by proudly displaying them at community parades and festivals. And whereas Dick, a master plumber and owner of Litchfeld Plumbing, was a proud father to 3 children, 5 grandchildren, and 5 great-grandchildren. And whereas Dick will be remembered by his many friends as an honorable man with many interesting hobbies, a keen sense of humor, a love of music, and a life full of accomplishments. Now therefore be it resolved that I, Mary K. O'Connor, Mayor, and on behalf of the City Council of the City of Monona, Dane County, Wisconsin, hereby recognize the contributions of Richard Harms Litchfeld to the City of Monona over the course of his lifetime and extend our sincerest condolences to his wife, Mary Ann, and his family. Signed in the City of Monona, Dane County, Wisconsin, this 15th day of February, 2021, Mary O'Connor, Mayor. So I'd just like to again extend our condolences to the Litchfeld family. Mayor Litchfeld was an active member of this community after his entire retirement, after retiring as mayor, and up until I think just a couple of months ago, he was still recording his shows on WVMO. So I think we really appreciated his input over the years, and he'll be missed, definitely. He had a lot of friends in this community. I think I see Mary Ann's head there.
Yep, that's Emily.
Does anyone else want to say anything? Kathy?
Well, just a couple of things. Doug and I both had the privilege of serving with Dick. And I will tell you all, there are some great stories, none of which I can tell you in public, but catch me later. But Doug, he credited you with starting the recycling. And that started under Dick. And I don't know what you did, Doug, because I don't remember, but he said you were the man to do that. The transportation system started under Dick, and Reinhold did that, and we drove up to Stevens Point and got buses because we didn't want to join Madison. And there were lots of things that happened under Dick, but beyond that, you know, he really was a Renaissance man. He was an ice boater, he was a sailboater, he had Miss Madison, he had all these wonderful cars. He did a transportation meet in LaRue, and he and MA have more friends probably than there are in the city of Monona. And I was privileged to serve on the council when he was mayor, although I did not support him when he ran as write-in. I don't think any of the council members did. I think we supported Bob Olson, but the better man won, and we're glad for that. So, and we will all miss him. And he was very fond of, he enjoyed his time on WVMO with Will. And truly enjoyed spending the time doing his show. So having said that, I'm done, but somebody else can say something about it.
Doug?
Yeah, I was on the council for 4 of Dick's years as mayor, and I can't say that we always got along exactly. We certainly had different policy, political views, so forth. And that was an interesting crew that we had, and definitely different times. But you know, I kind of came to appreciate after that, over the years, that Dick and Mary Ann's love for the community and everything they contributed to the community, so, you know, many different ways over the years, and that was more important. And he certainly an original, and he will be missed.
Anyone else? Will?
Well, mine's on a, oh, hold on. There we go. Mine's on a much lighter note. But I had the privilege of, for an hour and a half, 2 hours every Friday, to hang out with Mary Ann and Dick and play music and just talk and have some fun. So it didn't even feel like work. In fact, all my grandparents have passed away. So it was like I got 2 hours of time with my grandparents because it reminded me so much because we listened to the same music as I would hear at my grandpa's house when we walked in. And I would listen to them bicker and have fun, and we'd all laugh. And it would remind me of my grandparents and remind me of me and my wife and how we bicker. And so I was like, oh, everyone does that. Okay, good. Well, I guess we're not the only ones. And it was just a really enjoyable time that I got to get paid for too. So it was a bonus. So thank you very much for all those years and all the time. And on behalf of WVMO and the whole community, thanks for continuing to support your community in so many different ways. And I'll see you next week and we'll get Dick's stereo fired up.
Will you keep replaying some of the shows that he taped?
What'd you say?
Will you be replaying some of the shows that Dick and
Yes.
Mary taped?
Okay. Yeah, I didn't hear you. Yes, we are going to continue to play them. And, you know, maybe that's something Marianne and I can talk about, how we want to put a sweet ending to it all, or just keep it going for a while. So yeah, we can talk about that, but we definitely are not going to stop right now.
Great.
200 and
She blew you a kiss.
shows over the years.
It's a lot. Anyone else? Okay, well, Marianne and Peter, thank you for joining us tonight. And Leah, I know we're going to be sending you an official copy of the resolution. So again, thank you and take care.
And she have some extra copies for the kids?
Sure,
Okay,
we can definitely do that.
I'll send Leah a note.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, I think we will now move on. We do have one more appearance for Mr. Jeff Beckett. Jeff, if you'd like to state your name and address and tell us what you'd like to speak with us about.
Excuse me, I'm Jeff Beckett. My address is 4604 Winnequa Road. And I came to kind of ask about property maintenance enforcement. Exciting topic. I just had, you guys know what I'm here for. I sent you an
You know,
email.
but people watching may not know.
Okay, quick background. I've been trying to get the city of Monona to clean up my neighbor's yard for about 15 years. And the city's lied to me, basically. And to my other neighbor who tried to get him to do this 15 years ago. And I got into it again 9 months ago, contacted the city, and was told the same exact thing, that the city was doing everything they could and the code really had no teeth in it. So there wasn't really a whole lot more they could do. And since I retired like 9 months ago, I read the city code. And that's when I discovered I was being lied to, because there's plenty of things the city can do. And let's see, my notes aren't great here, please bear with me, but I was lied to as recently as today by the city. And there are currently like 15 to 20 property maintenance code violations next door that were there about 15 years ago, and they're still there. I understand, and I'm not sure, but I looked at the code, and now the trial is coming up for the next door neighbors, and I'm thinking that the city code, if I'm not mistaken, if they're found guilty and they don't pay their fines, they're supposed to go to jail. Is that correct?
I don't really know. Mr. Cole, would you like to answer that?
Answer is no. It's a civil forfeiture matter. So by state law, the only authority the municipal court has is to fine the defendant within the penalty range set by the council. So a monetary penalty is the only provision that's allowed under this proceeding.
Well, doesn't the city code say that if they go to trial and they're found guilty and they refuse to pay their fine, they go to jail for a week?
Well, the code may say that. We do not have a jail. Dane County would have to jail them, and the sheriff is in no position or willingness to do that if that were to occur. So it's very unlikely I would even seek that remedy if it were appropriate.
That wasn't my question. My question was, what's the city code say?
Then my answer is I don't know specifically, sir.
Oh, well, then why are you representing the city as an attorney?
Okay, did you have anything else to say, Mr. Beckett?
Yes, I do. I was subpoenaed to appear at the hearing by Mr. Cole.
At the trial?
And at the trial hearing, yeah, I know it's confusing, but I was subpoenaed to appear, and I sent the city an invoice for my hours. I formed No Real Choice Consulting, and I informed the city that I am No Real Choice Consulting, because 9 months ago I told the city I had no interest whatsoever, any interest in being involved in code enforcement. I just wanted the city to do it and to comply with the code and do it. That's all I wanted. And I've been lied to since. And now I got a nice subpoena to appear, not asking me, telling me to appear in court. And so I followed up with a question. Here's my first question. With an attorney who still has a heartbeat and a professional code enforcement officer, why does the city need me to prove this case?
Sir, the city has the burden of proof under law. We're bound by the rules of evidence. Notwithstanding my heartbeat, I need somebody that has firsthand knowledge of the information. I don't have that knowledge. I'm not a witness to anything. So the rules of evidence require that the city provide witnesses that will testify under oath to support our burden of proof. Based on the numerous complaints you've raised with the city, I understood you had that information. That's the nature of a subpoena. It's not a voluntary thing. It's not a negotiated thing. It's an order from the court to compel you to come and testify and tell the truth. I understand you don't want to do that. I've released you from the subpoena. You don't have to show up. I have not asked you to put any time into this case or photograph anything. So the city's not going to be paying your invoice for time that you weren't asked to do.
I didn't ask you to pay my invoice. I asked you why you wanted me to testify. When
Okay.
you have a code enforcement officer.
Did you have anything else to add, Mr. Beckett? Because we do have a limit on appearances and we have other business to move on to here.
I told you days ago that I wanted to be at this meeting, and I told you why.
Right. And we'd like you to hear what else you have to say, and then we're going to.
Hey, all right. Then my next question. I've informed you for 9 months that they had an illegal car parked there. Illegally parked
has been
vehicle.
removed. Okay.
Yes,
so,
it has. Why are there still 2 more parked there?
So far as I know, they're not illegal. I don't think we're here to, we're not typically in an appearance. We don't answer questions. We just listen to what you have to say.
I emailed these questions to you days ago. Why can't you answer them?
Because we don't do that in a public appearance section of a city
It's a
council.
public matter.
Mayor, if I could.
Openness and transparency is my favorite thing.
Attorney
I want to know why. I want to know why you removed 1 of 3 bad vehicles.
Attorney Cole.
Does that make any sense whatsoever? Give me the
I'm
logic.
asking the attorney to answer the question.
There you go.
This
Thank
matter
you.
is scheduled for trial tomorrow.
Yes.
I don't think it's appropriate to discuss any litigation on the eve of trial. So I would suggest Mr. Beckett can have all of his questions answered after the trial. But I would advise all of us to not really be answering questions or discussing this matter on the eve of the trial.
Oh, come on. I've been asking this question for 9 months, not the vehicle thing. I started with the vehicle 9 months ago. Okay, I got one more for you here. I asked the city to provide the position description, his spreadsheet of actions taken during the last year, the policies and procedure manual section for this position, and the performance expectations for this year and the prior year, and the copy of all complaints submitted related to this. And I got a PD that's not a PD. I got a summary spreadsheet that was made up. I did not get any policies and procedures because they don't exist. And the performance, I was told that the city is unable to provide performance expectations or complaints. Why is the city unable to provide the performance expectations or the complaints?
Attorney Cole.
Yeah, again, Mayor, I mean, we can discuss, Mr. Beckett can ask all the questions he wants and we'll get him information after this trial. But right now, this defendant is entitled to a fair trial.
This has got nothing to do. This has nothing to do with the trial, sir. Nothing.
Well, again, you can answer all your questions after the trial, but I'm not going to answer any tonight before this trial, and I'd advise the council not to either. I think we should move on, and Mr. Beckett can have his questions answered after tomorrow.
Was I not provided? Why can you not provide the
Thank you,
performance
Mr. Beckett.
expectations or the complaints? I want to know right now. There should be a reason. That's
Because when
open
you ask
record.
for that at 3 o'clock on Friday afternoon, that isn't a matter of something you can put together in 10 minutes.
That's something that should be there. They
Administrator
exist.
Gallo, can we-
That should take less than 10 minutes.
Appearance, please.
What?
I didn't hear your comment, Mayor.
Can we end this appearance, please? Is there something you can do?
Or you could mute Mr. Beckett, but I think.
Yes, could you mute Mr.
How about you
Beckett?
answer my question? Isn't that pretty simple? It's public record. Why can you
Your
not provide it?
question requires reams of paper that we didn't have handy.
The
at
performance
3 o'clock Friday
expectations
afternoon.
are reams. The complaints are reams. Well, that says something.
Mr. Beckett, the information I provided you this morning was the performance information that I could provide. Any other information about complaints about employees is personnel matter related that's not subject to public disclosure.
No, it's not. No, it's not. I'm not asking for his performance evaluation. I'm asking for his expectations. And I'm not asking for any personnel actions taken related to any complaints. I'm asking for the complaints. That's public record.
Okay, well then your email was a little unclear on that point, so it will take us some time to put that additional information together.
My email was not unclear.
I believe we've gone over the 3-minute limit for appearances,
you're way
so I
over
just wanted
the 3-minute
to
limit.
offer to close
Well,
the.
if you would answer a question, we wouldn't be going over my limit.
Well,
There's
we
no
answered
questions
We don't
answered.
like our answers.
Like the floor. Mr. Beckett, several of us offered to meet with you once and you canceled the meeting. You didn't. This is not the place to do this. If you want.
Well, if you had, I'm sorry, I'm interrupting. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I
I'm sorry.
offered to meet with you. You canceled the meeting. If you have complaints, I will be happy to meet with you after the trial. But this is not the place to do this, seriously, because you can't get what you want. So if you want to meet, we'll meet, but this isn't it. Okay?
Thank you.
I've tried to get answers for 9 months now. I don't like showing up at these meetings. I've got way better things to do.
Okay. Well, thank you for coming tonight. We're now going to move on. There is no.
Thank you
public
for all
hearing.
your fantastic answers.
There is no consent agenda. We're moving on to council action items under unfinished business item 1A. Consideration of ordinance 1-21-737, updating the fees, fines, and penalties schedule put forth by the city administrator. Is there a motion to approve this?
Move approval.
I have one last question, please, and then I'll leave.
We've moved on now from the public appearance.
Second.
Is there a second?
Second.
Alderwood? Brian, did you want to address this?
There are no other changes to the schedule from your last review, the city council meeting, so it's available for your adoption this evening.
Anyone have any other questions about this? Okay, all in favor, say aye.
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 Right.
Opposed? Motion passes. Next item B, discussion regarding committee meeting recording put forth by Alders Goforth and Moore. We put this on for discussion. I know that people were going to check with their committees to get opinions and thoughts about recording the meetings. I know of a couple, Doug mentioned the License Review Committee had some reservations. I was at the Distinguished Service Award Committee meeting last week. We agreed that it wouldn't be appropriate for that because they vote on awards and commendations for committee members and city employees, which are supposed to be a surprise until shortly before the event, which is usually months after the meeting. So, that information they would rather not become public. Does anyone have anything to report from their committees? Alder Groupie?
I would just say that I know that we will talk about this more going forward, but I had one member of a committee, the Senior Citizens Committee, that said they did not want to be recorded for the meetings. And everyone else said no problem. So I just wanted, I think we're just going to have to navigate that consent piece again with people who are attending the meetings as, people giving appearances or guests or even members of the committee who are uncomfortable being on a recorded meeting.
Alder Wood, did you have something?
Yeah. So the License Review Committee, we've actually been continuing to meet in person because it's such a small group. We've met at the municipal room at the lower level of the library. So this recording the meetings, a Zoom meeting, doesn't really apply to that. Parks Board members were okay with it. I don't recall any objections at all. So
Anyone else? Alder Thomas and then Alder Court.
I think public safety in general, they didn't think that people would take advantage of it. I mean, I don't think they objected to having it in there. I mean, I think what the conclusion might be, there are some meetings which are of higher interest than others. And I think we all know what those are. And I think there may be some value to doing that. But there are others who are concerned about use of resources. The same thing with ZBA. There's very little attendance. Nobody ever shows unless it's someone and their neighbor, and they would come to the meeting, and they just don't think people would take advantage of it, and that whether or not it would be worth staff time and money. Someone did ask about what on public safety, about how much they couldn't decide unless they knew what the cost would be to do it. So that's what I have to report.
Okay. Alder Court.
Sorry, I'm moving a room. So I had concerns raised by the library board as well as Public Works. The concerns were consent. If we have minors in the meetings, we occasionally do so at library board meetings. There was concern about stifling discussion. I have concerns with for staff. If all of their meetings are recorded, essentially if staff are going to go and get another job somewhere else, their future employer can pull all of the video of all of the meetings they've ever led, which would be a concern. I think that for some people that would be unnerving to know that that's possible. I have concerns with the resources available. But even more so, I don't know that there's a demand for this. And so us sinking in lots of resources when we're not clear that there is a demand for this seems to be not a good use of our time.
Alder Group B.
I would just say a point of clarification. I think if we're talking in regard to Alder Thomas's comments, I think if we're talking recording Zoom meetings and uploading them later to community media YouTube, that's not something that necessarily requires a lot of staff time or effort, as far as I am aware. I think it will get trickier, or would be trickier, if we wanted to continue this trend into in-person meetings, which I think that would require, people live videotaping and being present. The other thing I would say is, I don't have a strong opinion either way. I think this is important, an important discussion to be having, given that we talk a lot about wanting to improve our transparency and communication and make things more available to the public. I think the reason that people don't attend meetings more often also has to do with just the fact that people who may be most interested in attending aren't available for our in-person public meeting attendance when they happen in person. So I do think there is some benefit, even if a meeting typically isn't very well attended by people, it could just be that those people are working or have childcare needs or, other reasons why they can't attend in person. So again, not a personal yay or nay either way, but I just think some clarifying points that I wanted to put on the table.
Alder Goforth and then Alder Thomas.
Yeah, I wanted to say that at a community media committee was 100% comfortable and in favor of having the meetings public, since they are public meetings. The landmarks committee, we had one commissioner who said she doesn't trust Google, so she does not want to be on YouTube, but her term is up and she said she was not going to be seeking another term. And then, you know, if you look at the transit meeting that was recorded and is on YouTube, I looked last week and it's already at 48 views. And I think for a transit meeting, that's really impressive. And so I think there's a real hunger out there in our community for people wanting to see the public's business done in public. And so to say that we might as well not do it because nobody's going to watch, you know, that's like saying, okay, we're not going to put spaghetti and meatballs on the menu because nobody's going to order it. We don't know that until we do it. And it's obvious that hybrid meetings are here to stay. You know, and as far as this issue of consent, it's a little bit confusing. I've never heard of a city meeting asking for people having to provide consent because, you know, when you do the public's business and you agree to be on a commission, you are saying, I'm open to having my meetings publicized. I think it's really, yeah. And, you know, I don't know that every single committee needs to be available, but I think, you know, public safety is absolutely a priority for people. And I think that's one that should definitely be considered. And those are high budget items, as is, say, the Parks Board, very high budget items, and people would like to be a part of that discussion. I know the last Parks meeting, there was a crew of young sixth graders that pitched a mountain bike park or a bike park idea. And it's so sad because now we can't share that and it's not available. And that was really impressive. And I wanted to share that with people. And so, you know, I think a handful of meetings on YouTube should be required, honestly. It's public.
Not necessarily talking about all the meetings being on YouTube.
Well, you know, I think just starting with the big ticket items like transit, we have a good sized budget there. And like seeing that 48 people well, it's probably more than that now.
I'm surprised to hear that. I have to say.
Yeah,
I'm kind of confused. I had heard community media was not in favor of it. So I'm kind of surprised to hear they're all in favor of it.
We went around at the last meeting and the first meeting got a little heated. There were some people that got pretty excited. And one idea that had been presented was to have all of the committee meetings boiled down to a 3-minute video that the kids would put together. And I thought that's, you know, really high, very consuming of people's time to do that level of editing, and then to ask kids to know what the important parts of a meeting are. And everybody has biases and the things you might leave out because you don't think it's important. So that was one suggestion. But yeah, that was the first meeting. And at our meeting last week, we went around the table and it was 100% in consensus of having the meetings on YouTube.
Okay, Alder Thomas and then Alder Coor.
Well, a couple of things. Alder Cooper, we talked about, I mean, I know it's inexpensive to just upload these, but then you either have to continue or you have to cut it off. And that wasn't good. The other thing is that the issue about minors, when you talk about sixth graders, I'm not sure whether we have to get releases on minors or not. I just don't know what the rule is on that. I know that if you want to do pictures of minors, you have to get releases of them. And I have been informally doing a survey of my friends as saying, do you think that would you be interested, or do you think this is good use of city resources? And I'm very surprised by the 48 because to the person, they said, if it is something important, like if their street is being redone, or if there's a park plan, they would be interested. But it isn't, none of them suggested that being able to attend a meeting was a problem. And that they didn't think if we had to have staff and city money, the question that I got asked most of all is, if we do that, what won't we be able to do? How much will it cost And what won't we be able to do if we do this?
Attorney Cole, did you have an answer about the consent issue?
Yeah, thanks, Mayor. So there is no expectation of privacy in a public governmental meeting. So juveniles or adults can be photographed, can be recorded audially and visually, and no consent is required. So the answer to the question is the city could certainly record them, and if they appear before a city committee, they are implicitly giving consent. The only thing I was going to add, and Alder Wood may be more able to tune in with this, but there are some committees, license and review comes to mind to me, where their information comes up that it is pretty personal in nature. Sometimes at LRC, people talking about addictions and criminal record histories and things like that. So even though it's not private as a matter of law, that you may want to consider some just procedural changes for the city to ensure that some of the intimate and the private information, although it is publicly revealed, is not disseminated more than maybe is appropriate.
Alder Moore?
Yeah, I just, two of the committees that I chair, Facilities and Sustainability Committee, do not, when we're not in Zoom mode, meet generally in either the conference room at City Hall or actually the conference table inside the staffing area at City Hall, neither of which have any kind of technological capacity to be able, I mean, there's no camera in there. And as we know from doing organizational meetings, getting a camera in there and getting a wide angle view to be able to record it and everything is a real challenge. So, so I think, in the short term, people don't have a problem with it, but in the longer term, again, if we go back to in-person meetings, which I think our preference would be to do that, certainly, it would require, as Kathy indicated, for public safety as well, it would require additional resources because we don't have the cameras, we don't have the staffing in those areas. It's only in the municipal room, and even then, it would require additional taping. So obviously, plan commissions are already recorded and posted.
Okay, Alder Coor.
So I spoke with members of community media as well as the staff member from community media, and they may have been in support of uploading the Zoom meetings at this point. However, there was not support for extended uploading of videos after this is over. They were concerned about the resources and the amount of time that would be committed. And we don't have the staff with community media to do that. And so there would be a significant cost. And, the community media budget is already tight with franchise fees decreasing. And so where was that money going to come from? Certainly, I wouldn't like to see that come from community media. I also had several committee members on my committees tell me that they will leave their post from the community if this is continued.
Alder Goforth.
Yeah, I just wanted to mention that the League of Wisconsin Municipalities is hosting a workshop coming up. So I know I'll be attending that to help us. That was at my request to help us navigate this process. And I just want to mention, it doesn't seem like it would be wise of us to shoot down this idea right already when, think about the tech advances and how we've been forced to move technologically over the past year or the past 11 months. I'm guessing, here we are sitting here on Zoom, and I'm guessing that someone is probably working on a brilliant invention right now to address these challenges, since every organization across the world is trying to figure this out. And so, I say I would be in favor of us just starting this, at least with some of our high budget meetings, so the public knows what's going on and they can feel engaged. And you know, when we are requiring people to operate around our schedule, our meeting schedule, we are leaving out a lot of voices in this community. And to think that, you know, oh, if they want to be here, they'll be here. Well, if you're a waitress and you can't get time off, you have to show up for your shift. Or if you're you know, a bus driver, whatever, you know, if you don't work in an office and have a typical 9-to-5 job, these meetings are impossible to attend. So I just think we're leaving out a lot of people if we don't consider this. I'm just amazed that there's this much resistance to doing the public's business in public, honestly.
I would have to say, I don't think it's resistance. I think people have some logical questions about what the cost, as someone has said, doing it. Yeah, I know your phone.
We all have a camera right in our pocket today too.
But that doesn't exactly get the whole room, and then we've got half the people on Zoom and half on a camera. There's more involved than just having your camera on your phone. Alder Coor, did you have something to say?
I'm good, thanks, Mayor.
Okay. My personal feeling is that I think we ought to try putting the Zoom meetings up and see what kind of response we get. I know I've heard other communities have done that, and I think the response varies, but that's something the council will have to decide. And then I think we just make the decision though, as long as we're on Zoom. Obviously, if we go to hybrid meetings or whatever, that's a whole nother story in terms of technology and especially staffing. It's going to involve a lot more staffing. Alder Wood, did you have something?
Yeah. We did record the Parks Board meeting the other night last week, and I'm not sure if that has been put up on YouTube or not at this point. But I guess in terms of what's going to happen, so I think we should in general put the Zoom meetings, put them up on YouTube and see if, you know, if there's interest. Beyond that, I think we need to know more about like how many committees we're talking about and what the cost would be. Mm-hmm. We don't need to know that tonight, but at some point, you know, and then because you can't make a decision about it without having an idea of what the cost would be. But yeah, I think to the extent we can, we ought to make it available to the public. I guess personally, I don't have a lot of sympathy for the view of a committee member who doesn't. I guess I'd need to know more about their reasons, but you know, to not be recorded. I mean, it's part of being, I guess, on a public committee. So,
Alder Moore.
Yeah, I just wanted to point out, because there seems to be some I guess inference that in this discussion that we're trying to limit our transparency in some way, and I just wanted to point out that well, we haven't recorded all the meetings because this has been new technology that allows us to do it. We haven't done it before. The reality is that as per state law, we post all of our agendas in advance. We have appearance sections. When people write into us in advance because they can't attend a meeting, that gets posted as part of the meeting. We have minutes after the meeting. So it's not like if somebody didn't attend a meeting, they wouldn't see my smiling face or somebody else's comment at the time that it was said, you know, in a video. But it's not like we don't record and post and publicize and in terms of the public knowing what's going on. So I just you know, I just wanted to just say that I don't think in any way, shape, or form this group or any other group before us has suggested that that we don't want to be transparent in any way.
Anyone else? Alder, go forth.
And I know those comments are directed to me, Alder Moore, but since I have been on council, all of these meetings have been recorded on Zoom because it's been 100% Zoom environment since I've been on council. So when I say that the meetings have all been recorded, that is accurate, because you can look in the upper left of our screen and see, well, right now we're streaming live, but every meeting has been recorded.
That is not true.
Since I've been on council.
No.
Since I've been on council.
No, the council meetings, the finance and personnel and plan commission meetings are recorded. Ask Mr. Nimmo. They have not been all been recorded. Unless the staff member actually pushes record for that meeting, they're not recorded. I know you've said that, but
You're talking
isn't
about
true.
streaming. Those three streaming.
No, I'm not talking about
Those are on
streaming. I'm
YouTube.
talking about recording. Mr. Nimmo, would you address that, please?
Yes, so let's,
I did ask for clarification and I got no response, so.
I
would
thought
like to hear
you
the
said
answer.
before that he said that they were recorded, but they aren't. Will, can you?
as far as what we're doing, we only have right now council, plan commission, and finance and personnel that we record and put up on YouTube. Everything else is per what we're talking about right now. If anyone is to record their meetings at this point, it would have to be done by a committee member outside of finance, plan commission, and council.
Yeah.
Okay, so my committees, I believe, have been recording because oftentimes it seems the staff goes back to watch and to clarify their minutes.
I think some staff do. I think Doug Plowman, for instance, records his to help clarify his notes for his meetings when he's taking minutes, but I don't think it's a routine thing that every staff member does. So, does anyone else have any questions? I'm sorry, Mr. Beckett, your time is up. Alder Coor?
Just as a point of order, this is discussion tonight and this will come back for a vote.
Yep.
Thank you.
Welcome back for a vote. Okay, then we are going to move on to new business. Item 2A, consideration of resolution 21-2-2463, award of contract for the Pirate Island Bridge Replacement Project put forth by the Public Works Committee. Mr. Stefani.
Thank you, Mayor. At the February 3rd Public Works Committee meeting, the Public Works Committee did recommend approval of the bid provided by RG Houston for the Pirate Island Bridge Replacement Project. Their bid came in at $1.193 million. We did receive one bid. We also put this project out to bid 2 times last year. RG Houston was the bidder on both of those occasions. We did not have the correct amount of funding based on what we had for bids received. So the project was put on hold last year and we properly planned and rebid it for this year. So at this point, we have $1,425,000 in the capital budget ready to go to cover this project. And this project is eligible for the Dane County Bridge Aid Grant, which is a 50% reimbursement for eligible items. So we will submit that when the project is complete, once all the costs are in. The project will be a phased project for 2021, meaning it will start in 2021 and it will end in 2022. The contractor does have the prerogative to complete the project this year if they can fit it in their schedule. The phase 1 should be completed by November 19th of this year. They do have 90 calendar days from when they start to complete the phase 1 portion of the project. Phase 2 has to be completed by April 29th of 2022, and asphalt paving has to be done by May 13th of 2022. The work that's required for this year is to reconstruct the west side of the bridge. That would be the southbound lane. The bridge has to remain operational during construction. We have to have one lane open at all times. And per DNR rule, we cannot start construction until after June 15th. From March 1st through June 15th, they have water restrictions due to fish spawning. I believe that's it as far as a summary, but I would be more than happy to answer your questions.
Anyone have any questions about this? Alder Wood.
Yeah, so this time we only got one bid, is that right?
Correct.
When we bid it last year, did we get more than one bid?
The first bid last year, we had one bid. The second bid, I believe we had three, but all three were greater than what we had budgeted. And the budget that we had set last year was based off the DOT bidding the same bid items. So it was properly, the construction estimate was properly assembled, but I think what we found through talking through the big contractors was this project has tight construction limits, meaning we have a narrow right of way, we have a one way in, one way out, and they prefer the big projects, the multi-million-dollar DOT projects. So RG Houston is a reputable contractor for street excavation. I know this is for bridge construction. They do have a few bridge installations under their belt. This is a pretty straightforward project, but yeah.
How does the bid this time compare to the bids we got last year?
The bid this year compared to the second bid that RG Houston put in last year, I think we're a few $1,000s apart. I think it's almost identical to what they did last year.
Okay, thanks.
Yep.
Anyone else? Alder, go forth.
I was just wondering have we worked with RG Houston before?
Yes, RG Houston had all three phases of Monona Drive, and we led that project as a city of Monona. So that's a roughly 3.5 mile stretch that they did for us. And overall, they're a good contractor. They're a big contractor. They do a lot of high value projects. Like I said, they are getting their foot in the door for bridge reconstruction. This is going to be a perfect project for them. So I think we'll be okay.
Okay. And then I know there was a question, and I've heard this a couple times about raising the bridge. Can you address that, Dan?
Sure. We have had several questions over the past few years about that. In layman's terms, taking away all the engineer speak, we don't have enough room for expanding the approaches. So if a higher bridge went in, we would have to lengthen the approaches, and we can't do that because on the south end we have apartment complex parking and residential driveways. On the north end we have driveways that are close by too. So I believe we would either have to buy property and eliminate those so we can extend the approaches, but due to engineering we simply don't have enough room to go with a taller bridge. The bridge that we're putting in is the same height as the current bridge as far as navigational height. So that's why we can't go higher.
Thank you.
Yep.
Dan, will it make any difference that you're removing that water main? Isn't that hanging from the bridge right now, did you say?
Yes, we are relocating the water main. We're going to put a concrete casing pipe under the channel, and the new water main will go through that pipe. But part of the construction would be eliminating the water main from the current bridge and laying a new main as part of this project.
Will that allow for a little more room for boats to pass under, or won't that make a difference?
No, because the way the main is currently hung, it doesn't impact navigation, and the new pipe we're putting in will go just below the bed.
Okay. Anyone else? Okay, thank you, Dan.
Thank you.
Move on to the next item B, consideration of resolution 21-2-2464, purchase approval of outdoor pool heater put forth by the Park and Recreation Board. This is started for immediate approval. Is there a motion to take this out of order?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Is there a motion to approve this?
Move approval. Or else. Second.
Okay. Mr. Anderson.
Good evening. This is a maintenance replacement of our 2005 heater for our outdoor pool. Timing is to have it supplied and installed during the process of startup of the pool. Each year, we typically don't know if the heater's working. There's no way to bench test it before the pool's full of water. And we have to get the water up to temp before we can start treating it. So it's a very integral part of making sure we can have a season, outdoor pool season. This replacement will sufficely last for the remainder of the life cycle of the outdoor pool. We had budgeted $40,000 in this year's capital budget, and the proposal we have is for $30,000. So any additional monies needed for electrical work or HVAC work will be taken care of within this budget.
Any questions? Alder Goforth.
I just saw that in the proposal, they mentioned that they weren't going to be covering piping, electrical, and venting. Is that included, or can you address that?
That's what I just said, that any additional funding that we had in our capital budget would cover those costs if needed. That's for piping electrical work that isn't already assumed to be there. So this is a direct inline replacement. We shouldn't, but if we do, that's what the additional $10,000 would be utilized for, but I'm not anticipating needing that much.
Great, thank you.
Anyone else? Okay, if there aren't any further questions, will the clerk please call the roll?
Alder Poor,
Aye.
Alder Thomas,
Aye.
Alder Groupie,
Aye.
Alder Moore,
Aye.
Alder Goforth,
Aye.
Alder Wood.
Aye.
Motion passes. Thank you. Final item C, consideration of resolution 21-2-2465, a resolution in support of the reauthorization of the Knowles Nelson Stewardship Grant put forth by the Park and Recreation Board. Mr. Anderson.
And special thanks to Alder Kuhr, who brought this resolution to our attention. As many of you are aware, I'm now past president of the Wisconsin Park and Recreation Association, working collectively with a collaboration of interested parties in supporting the reauthorization of the Knowles Nelson Stewardship Program. The city of Monona has been a recipient over the years for multiple projects, including the acquisition of Woodland Park, the redevelopment of the Lattice Park boat launch, and the acquisition of parkland next to Frostwoods Park. So just to name a few projects, this is a really important project as we move forward, especially with a forthcoming acquisition grant request for San Damiano. And there's been one county, at least, Outagamie County, that has put forth the resolution supporting the governor's and DNR's department's reallocation or increased funding for the program and reauthorization. So if the state budget doesn't get passed, or this part of it, that means this program is set to expire at the end of this year. And I would give some of my time to Alder Kuhr to maybe talk over some of the finer points of the resolution.
Alder Kuhr.
Thanks, Jake. So this Knowles Nelson Stewardship Program benefits municipalities as well as counties and land trusts are all able to apply for this funding. It's a 1-to-1 match generally. And initially the program started in 1989. It's named after both a Republican and a Democrat. So it's a bipartisan program that's existed for quite some time. At its peak, it was funded at $87 million a year. In the 2019 budget, the governor renewed it for 2 years at $33 million. And so we're hoping that it'll go for $50 million for 10 years with this renewal. There is opposition to it, unfortunately. And so it'll be an interesting way through the Joint Finance Committee. But we do hope that it will be approved. We expect to hear the governor's budget drop tomorrow. And based on what's included in the governor's budget, I would recommend to the body, if we do choose to approve this resolution, that we amend the resolution to reflect whatever is in the governor's budget. Our hope is 50 million, but we'll see where it goes. I will take questions if people have questions about the program. I think it's a fantastic program available to municipalities. We would not be able to do some of the fantastic park projects that we do. Recreation opportunities bring a huge economic impact to a region, and so that can't be overlooked. And so I'll take questions if anyone has questions.
Alder Groupie.
I just want to say thank you to Alder Coor and Director Anderson for their efforts on this, and especially Alder Coor has been so generous with her time in sharing information about the program and providing answers to questions that different Parks Board members and other members of the community have had about it. So thank you both very much, and I'm proud to support this resolution.
Any other questions? Alder Coor.
If I may, Mayor, my hope with this resolution is that this will get some press, and we were contacted today by a representative of the press regarding this, because my hope is that constituents will learn more about the program, see its value, and reach out to their state representatives to make sure that this stays in the budget.
Makes sense. Anyone else? Okay, so Alder Moore, did you have something?
Yeah, I was just, do we need to, just in terms of the timing of the governor's budget, first of all, thank you, Alder Coor, and thank you, Jake, for this as well. Goes without saying, given what I do for a living, that I totally appreciate this stewardship fund and always have, and it's really important. But I'm wondering if given where the governor's budget is, if we need to be moving on this tonight. Is that your intent, that we vote on it tonight?
Didn't you suggest that we wait, Alder Coor?
I don't think that it's necessary that we do it tonight. The budget's going to take a while to make through joint finance and all the other committees. And so I don't think that there's a huge rush on this.
Okay.
So I think that if we, vote on it, our next meeting will be sufficient.
Okay, thank you.
I think you can let us know if the amount has changed then.
Absolutely.
We can revise the resolution. Anyone else? Okay, well, thank you. That takes care of our new business. Moving on to reports of committees, commissions, boards, etc. Alder, go forth.
It looks like the city's newsletter had over 700 subscribers in our first issue. That was reported at Monona Community Media, so that was fantastic. Shout out to Samantha Griffin for pulling that together. She did a great job. Looks like we'll potentially have 2 open seats coming on community media. With landmarks, the Pagoda RFP is out. So we'll be doing a site visit there. I believe that's next week, find the date. And 2/26, a site visit with anyone who's potentially wants to bid on the Pagoda project. And otherwise, the National Register project is underway, and we're now exploring, looking at putting the Panther Mound on the National Register as well. And we've made contact with the owners, and we're kind of getting that process started. Okay, that's all I have.
Alder Moore.
Nothing really to report, except I would say that at the last Plan Commission meeting, I was reported by Doug Plowman that development interest has picked up, and that we can plan on a pretty packed schedule the next couple of months in the Plan Commission. So for those people that are interested in economic development in Monona, as I said to the commission members, our schedule often ebbs and flows, and we're obviously in a flow period. So it's good news.
Thank you. Alder Wood.
Yeah, Parks Board met last Tuesday, and for the first time in months, I think at least, we did not discuss Stonebridge Park. We did have a presentation again by the 3 6th graders regarding the mountain bike track They're looking at, and they've been working with Jake and Missy on locating a site in Maywood Park. And so the Parks Board sort of then they came back and gave another presentation, the kids did, on that. And they're going to continue working with Jake and Missy as sort of a trial run location. And then we also had a presentation by a young man, Eagle Scout, or he's doing an Eagle Scout project to improve the kayak launch at Schluter Beach Park. And also, I guess not as part of the Eagle Scout project, but related to that, he wants to raise funds to put in a handicapped accessible kayak launch at that, more or less in that same vicinity. It's really, I don't believe there's any such facility on either Mendota or Monona, or I'm not sure where, but it looked really, really slick, would work really well. I think it'd be attractive to a lot of kayak users, period. So we'll see how that develops.
Alder Thomas.
So there's a zoning board meeting Thursday night at 5:45. And Madam Mayor, my bridge group asked me to express their thanks to you for doing the newsletter so they don't have to just rely on me for what's going on in Monona. They were pretty impressed by it and they really liked it. So they asked me specifically to tell you thank you.
Oh, well, tell them you're welcome. We've had a great response. Really, really well done. Alder Groupie.
Just following up on Alder Wood's comment, there will be a public input session regarding the mountain bike trail track on February 25th, which is a Thursday from 4:30 to 5:45, I believe, or 4:15 to 5:30. And that event is on Facebook and probably also on the city website as well. But we're interested in hearing feedback from the rest of the city about it. And I think it's really fun for the community to get to see these young people getting involved so early on in the process of doing it, taking on a project like this in the city. So please come and provide your input if you can.
Could you repeat the time?
I'm just going to double check. It is on February 25th from 4:15 to 5:30.
Okay. Alder Coor.
Oh, hold on. Sorry. One other note. I was informed today that one of our senior citizens committee members, Sarah Whalen, passed away last week. And I just wanted to express my condolences publicly. I loved working with Sarah. She was sort of a quieter member of the committee, but I was very, saddened and shocked to hear that she had passed away. And I know that her obituary is public and there are opportunities for memorial donations and things of that nature. So, yeah, I'm sorry to hear of that. So just wanted to share and express my gratitude. I've worked with her for my entire time on the council, and I appreciated her contributions. So
thank you for mentioning that, Molly. She was a great lady. Alder Coor.
Library board meets tomorrow. I don't have any other report.
All right. I guess Bill is gone. City Administrator Gatto.
Yes, just one thing, a reminder that our police chief survey remains open until this Friday, the 19th, and then the position remains open until the 22nd, after which time we'll start reviewing applications and see where we're at in terms of next steps in the process.
Great. Molly?
Sorry, Administrator Gatto reminded me that I sent a reminder out to people today, but the City Hall lobby is open as a warming space and it's been so frigid for quite a while. And so just a public reminder that if people need warmth for a period of time, that is open 24 hours, just need to contact dispatch and call a number after hours.
Okay, thanks, Molly. Alder Goforth.
Brian, do you have any sense of how many surveys have been submitted at this point?
Last I had checked with the consultants, this would have been last week. I think they were north of 50. I'll have a better sense by the end of the week, so we'll be above that. And then there was a separate survey for the department, and I think almost everyone from the department had filled that out.
Okay, thank you.
Jake, did you have anything?
Just to follow up on the Maywood Park public input, the residents that live on the park will be getting certified letters to be able to provide feedback and input on this plan. And then through our normal social channels, Facebook and our newsletter, weekly newsletter that we put out, and the Monona newsletter. So after that, the March meeting, the Parks Board will decide to give approval on this project or not. Also, we do have bid opening this week for the Stonebridge Park stormwater and park improvements on Thursday. So expect to see first reading at the March meeting. And then we also have out for bid right now is improvements at Woodland Park that were part of the 2020 capital budget, and it's a carryover for this year. Included in that project is a generous private donation from the John Traver family. So those two projects, park projects, you'll see at the March meetings. Along with the resolution for applying for a Knowles Nelson Stewardship Grant for acquisition reimbursement for San Damiano property. So we'll gear up and buckle up. It'll be a busy March meeting schedule all around. So we've got a couple more weeks at the ice rink at Monona Bank River Rink. We will be extending our season at least for the first 2 weekends in March. With the last week has not been great with the weather and cancellations. So hoping that with a rebound in the weather starting this tomorrow, we'll get back to some better temperatures and better for ice skating. So looks like March 13th will be our last day for Monona Bank River Rink ice skating. That's all I have.
Great, thank you. Chief McMullen?
Well, good evening.
Good evening.
I've got just a couple of things. So good evening to all you wonderful people. So just a couple of things that were also in my monthly update. There has been 2 grants submitted in January, a grant to Firehouse Subs for a lift system for the back of Medic 60. That grant is no cost to the city. Should we be awarded, we should hear in the next 3 weeks on that. Second one is a bigger one. It's a resubmittal of a grant for our breathing apparatus, last submitted back in 2018. Took that grant, did some more research with it, reached out to some of the expert paid grant writers that reviewed it for free for us. So we got it reviewed by 3 different folks. They provided some really good feedback. We added that to it and submitted that last Friday. Total cost, that's about $250,000. Cost of the city will be about $10,000 should we be awarded that. It looks like they're going to try and accelerate grant awards again at the federal level. So we should start hearing grant awards about June for that particular program. Quick COVID update. Of course, it's all over the news. But currently the state gets about 90,000 doses of vaccine a week. That's what they're allocated statewide. Last couple of weeks, most of our local pharmacies haven't gotten any first dose vaccinations. What they've gotten is allocated for their second dose for folks that have already had a dose. So that 90,000 that we get every week statewide accounts for both first and second dose allocations. So hasn't been a lot of movement the last couple of weeks. With the high number of elderly folks within our community, I reached out to Dr. Yost, our medical director, reached out to the state, got approval from Dr. Yost to submit to make Monona Fire Department an actual vaccinator ourselves. We're going to try and build Medic 62, our backup rig, into a mobile vaccination unit for folks that are unable to get out or are unwilling to leave their house to get the vaccine. Again, I don't foresee a large amount of that, but we want to make that available to our citizens to be able to get it as widely spread as possible, to remove as many barriers as we can for people to go get their vaccination. So that's in the works. How that plays out yet, I don't know. We may partner up with local pharmacies to do that. We may be our own vaccinator. That'll be in working with DHS and Dane County Emergency Management to move forward with that. The ice rescue boat was used a couple weeks ago out at Lottis Park to great success. To piggyback on Jake's comments about the rink, we will be out outside of the yacht club tomorrow night on the river. We partnered up with Monona Police Department to do their polar plunge activities as well while we have people in the water to help them. Due to the weather, I'm probably going to insist that even the police folks get in the dry suits to hop in the water. Between the current and the temperature, not a big fan of people hopping in moving water of ice water. So the association from the fire department approved a $50 donation for everybody that gets in the water tomorrow night, from fire or police, whether they're in a suit or not. So we will be making a donation to the Polar Plunge and the Special Olympics after tomorrow night. Everybody's welcome to come down and watch. It's next door to the rink. So we tried to do it in a place that's a little bit more public. And it's also the only open water around right now after the really cold spell we've had.
What time is that tomorrow?
We'll start at 7. So between 7 and probably 9. I know I reached out to Will and Samantha as well. They will likely be there at some point to do some media work. I think that's everything. Everything else is going well. The paid on call, paid on premise issues we had last year appear to have been addressed. That's in your packet every month. You guys will be able to monitor that as you see fit. I apologize because last month I said there'd be some more economic information in the packet, but we're billing wise, you're a month behind. So I won't have any of the new reports until the end of February for January. So that's why there's nothing in there this month economic wise. Billing is going very well. My folks have been doing a fantastic job with the new documentation requirements. I'll finish up with right now, Engine 2 and Medic 60 are out on the highway with another car accident. We had 3 of them this weekend. So currently what we have in waiting is enough to cover that budget line item that we increased this year for state reimbursement. So I'm working with LifeQuest next week to start get that process automated. So they do all the work and I don't have to, which I appreciate. So with that starting to happen, the odds of getting insurance reimbursement are also quite a bit higher because they have relationships with all the auto insurance companies as well as part of their billing practice. So normally for a car accident like what we're on tonight would be about $900 worth of reimbursement. State reimburses us for $500. As long as we have auto insurance to bill, we can bill for that full $900. So hopefully going forward, we'll see a large increase in that. We've had the first couple be reimbursed already. So we're doing well. Everything's going well.
Great news. Glad to hear that. Thank you. Leah, did you have anything?
Just a few things, Mayor. First, we have some seasonal positions for this summer currently open and posted on our website at mymonona.com/jobs. So we have lifeguard positions, head lifeguard positions, aquatic attendants, a pool manager position, and some landscape maintenance positions posted so far. So anyone interested in summer employment, please check out those. Did you have a question, Molly? Okay. And second, Joan would like me to remind you that tomorrow there is a primary election. We have, Monona has one race on the ballot. It is for State Superintendent of Public Instruction. We will only have one polling place open for tomorrow's election. So all Monona voters vote at the Monona Community Center. The Community Center, the polling place will be open from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m.
Great, well, thank you. Okay, I just had a couple of things. I don't know if all of you saw it or not, but Leah sent out emails to everyone about the committee reappointments with the list of the folks that are up for reappointment this year and some instructions about that. We definitely only want the chair of each committee to focus on this. I think it just caused too much confusion with co-chair and chair. And Leah, what was the deadline? Did you say end of February or middle of March? I can't remember.
Yeah, we didn't actually specify a deadline. We do like to put those appointments as much as possible on the April organizational meeting agenda. So, you know, by March, so that we can start getting those appointments, all figure out who we need to reappoint and if we need new members, if we can start to look for those.
Right. If we need to get out and do some advertising for people to apply, there's always at least some that we don't have any applications in line for. So if the sooner the better in terms of letting me know. I think that's everything. I guess the only other thing is I just wanted to acknowledge my appreciation for our public works crew who this weekend just had a nightmare. They not only had a broken water main, but they spent at least 36 hours out in front of my house at the pumping station across the street with some kind of a blockage there. And every time I looked out the window, there were 3 or 4 guys there. So I had to do all that in this weather and be dealing with a water main break at the same time. It was rough. So we really appreciate them being here. They did finally were able to figure out what the problem was with the at the pumping station. So hopefully that's all taken care of. But I think we all acknowledge being in, minus 30 wind chill for 36 hours is not fun. So thank you all. There are no appointments tonight. Is there a motion to adjourn?
Happy birthday to Leah.
Oh, it's Leah's birthday? Happy birthday, Leah.
Thank you all.
What a way to celebrate.
Happy birthday, yeah.
And belated happy birthday to Alder Coor as well.
Ah, thanks.
Okay.
And Alder grouping.
Oh, that's right.
I'm glad somebody said something. Thank you. It was Thursday.
That's right.
And she came to a sustainability committee meeting on her birthday. So how's that for dedication?
It was long.
That is a way to celebrate. It's kind of unique. Anyway, Alder Thomas, we have a motion from her to adjourn. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye.